Hey, what's happening everybody? Dano here. I'm gonna do a video on stacking moon photos. I was gonna put this in with my earth shine processing video, but I didn't want it to be 4 hours long, so I'm just gonna do these separately. I'm using a Windows laptop, so all of these programs are free for PC or Windows. I'm not sure if they're compatible with Mac. You can always check and see if you're using a Mac. I was primarily a Mac user before I got into astrophotography, but then I saw that a lot of these programs for astro are PC only, so I got a Windows laptop. So anyways, I'm going to be using 3 different programs in this video. All of these are free. The first one is PIPP. I'm just going to open up my browser and you'll just type in PIPP, and you may have to scroll down because it doesn't pop up. It's a planetary imaging preprocessor software. That's Stargazer's Lounge. It's going to be on this PIPP downloads right here. I think this will take you to the site. So you'll just download whichever version you need, 32-bit or 64-bit, and these are for Windows. And I think that wine installer, I'm not sure how to do that, but I think that you can run it on a Mac somehow. I don't do any of this on my Mac, so I don't know for sure, but that may be what that is right there. So you'll need that program, and then we'll be using Autostakkert, AUTOSTAKKERT, and same deal. You'll go here and just go to downloads and download whichever version you need. And the last one we'll be using is called Registax, and I think the latest version is Registax 6. And same deal, just go to their site and go to the download tab and download whichever version you need here. Alright, the first thing I'm going to open up is PIPP. I took these images of the moon with my Canon T7i, and they're RAW files, so they're CR2, and I was trying to just bypass this part and open them up in Autostakkert, and it wouldn't pull them up. So I'm going to use PIPP to do a I was doing a batch mode before and just converting it to a TIFF, but this time I'm going to do something different. So I'm going to go to File, Add Source Files. I'll just go to the photos so I can walk you all the way through this. I thought I took about 60 of these overnight, but I only got about half that. So let me just hold shift and come down to this last one here. I think it's 32 total, and it's saying it's chosen join mode, and I'm just going to use that because I was using batch mode. I've used batch mode before to convert stuff. So it's going to open up a preview here, and yeah, and there's your frame numbers right there. So that's 1 of 32. So I've got 32 shots. You really want to get hundreds of these shots to stack, and then you have more to stack, and then you can choose the best percentage of, say you got 800. You're going to have better results the more photos you get. So I should have did more of these, but lately with my moon photography, I've been using video, and you can get way more frames per second, and then you go into Autostakkert and it'll pull those frames from the video. So I'll end up stacking hundreds of frames doing it that way, but this should be better than just using a single image, even if we only use a handful of these. So anyways, you'll see that that's the preview here, and these are CR2 files. They're from a Canon DSLR, and what I'm going to do is go to input options, and I'm just going to go through these and make sure that I've got everything checked right. I think by default, and it's under this processing tab, I'm going to leave everything here as it is default. Under processing, okay, it's not doing it this time, but it kept ticking this box right here, convert color to monochrome. I don't know why it was doing that, but it was. So, but now it's not checked, so that's right. And then we're going to go to quality options. I'll just leave this as default, and output, there's nothing, I'm not doing an animation. So output options, we're gonna take these 32 CR2 files and convert them into an AVI file, and Autostakkert will open that AVI file up, and it'll turn it right back into the 32 frames that I took. So I think that's all right. Yep, I'm going to do AVI, and I'm going to go ahead and go over here to do processing, and let's do it. And this will take maybe a minute or two, depending on how fast your computer is. And I was thinking that Autostakkert would just recognize those files and do its thing, but even when I came in here and I did a batch conversion and moved them to TIFF files, they wouldn't pull up right. So I'm just doing an AVI file, and once we're done with that, it'll save it into that folder, and then we're going to open up Autostakkert when we're done with PIPP. Thanks for your hard work, PIPP. And so it opens up this right here, and I'll just play it, and it's going to be very short because it's only 32 frames. And that's it. That's all it is. So I'm going to close this out, and I'm going to close PIPP out, and now we're going to open up Autostakkert. Okay, so here we're going to go to open, and I'll just it's already opening that up because I did this earlier, but I'll just go back to that drive, and then I'll go to Earthshine Moonshots, and it's going to be this one right here is what we just did. And I'll click on this, and that'll pop that up there. And let me make sure, yeah, it's an AVI file. This right here is the default all supported video formats. I was trying to use image files right here, but it wasn't recognizing the TIFF files. So we changed it to an AVI file, and we're gonna hit open. Okay, so I had this window covering up the whole screen. I'm just going to click on the top here and move it over. We're going to go to open right here, and let me just make sure I'm using the latest one we stacked. Once again, I'll go back to that Earthshine folder, and it's going to be the second one right here. Click on that, and I'll just leave that as default, and that'll open that right up. And Okay. Alright, that opened it up. So you'll see right here in the bottom corner, it's got a hashtag sign F. So that's the number of frames, 32. So we just got those 32 CR2 files, the Canon RAW files, to show up in Autostakkert here. And right here, it's displaying frame 1 of 32. So I'll just see if I can get this moon to show up here. It's going to be pretty small because I shot this with a 400mm lens. So let me get this kind of centered up so we can see the... Alright. So, first thing we want to do is check this image stabilization, and I guess we'll do surface since it's kind of close to the surface. It's definitely not a planet, but if you were doing planetary, you would choose this setting right here. So since we're only gonna stack a few of these frames, I'll just hit analyze, and it's gonna run through those 32 frames, and it's gonna tell me with a graph this percentage of which one are good, of which frames are good and which frames are bad. So out of 32 frames, so 25% are, you know, pretty good right here, and then we start sliding down to the halfway point, and then half of them are not so good. So if we just wanted to stack a few, it's really not going to make a difference. That's why you really need hundreds of photos. I've never had a graph bar like going straight across the top here. It always kind of degrades like this. But the seeing was bad, so that what that does is it'll take out the shots that have bad seeing, and it should sharpen up. So I guess we could just try 30%. I usually don't go over 50 anyways, even if this graph was showing all the way over here, I usually don't go over 50%. So I'll usually do something like 25 or 35, or last time I stacked I used 40%. So this right here, it's going to, I've got it, it's gonna, I think it's gonna produce a TIFF, a 16-bit TIFF. So I have that checked. I'm not stacking a certain number. I'm going to do frame percentage to stack. So I'm going to click on this box right here, and I'm going to change this 40 to a 30. So we know we've got at least 50% are good, but you know what? Let's just do 35. What the heck? We've only got 32 frames, so we'll do 35% of the best photos. And I've got sharpen checked, RGB align checked, and then save in folders checked. Drizzle is turned off. And now you can't hit this stack button right here unless you come over here and do these AP grids. And this is what it's going to use to stack. So I'm going to just click on place AP grid right here, and we'll see how many it puts down. And AP stands for alignment points, and there's 51. You can adjust this right here with these little deals, and then hit place AP grid. We'll see how many this puts on here. And that did a 58. I may want to try to get it to where it's lining up on these edges right here too. So I'll just run this up to 96 and hit that. Let's hit that. Alright, I went the wrong way. So let's go down to 80 and let's place. And this one's using 76. So we'll go with that. 76 align points. And it's saying that my best frame up here at this the top of this little deal right here, it's using this as the display image because it seems to be the best frame of the bunch, number 17 right there. So once you place these grids on here, you'll see the stack button. It'll highlight, and you can go ahead and click that, and let's go ahead and stack them. All right, looks like it's done. And that should, this number right here is important. You want to remember this number, 35. It should create a folder in your original folder, and it'll say 35 AP or something like that. We'll see that here in a second. So I think that's done, and we can close Autostakkert. We're done with Autostakkert. And I'm just going to open this up and see what it saved it as. Let's go to Earthshine, and yep, right here. So this was the last folder that I stacked in PIPP, and it's going to be in this folder, and it says AS-P35. So that's Autostakkert percentage 35. And let's see what it saved. There's the TIFF, and that's a TIFF. I don't know why it's saved too, but okay. So there they are. And the last bit of this deal, we're going to open up Registax. So let's just get this thing open. And now, I used to not use Autostakkert. I used to stack all of my photos in Registax, and it's still a good program. But once I switched over to doing videos, I started using Autostakkert. But if you can just stack in here too. But what Registax does have is it has some cool sharpening tools in the processing tab. But I can make another video stacking in here, but for now we're just gonna open up that stacked image from Autostakkert. And let's see, once again, go back to that folder, Earthshine, go to the second folder, go to AS-P35, and both of these are TIFFs, so I'm gonna open this up. I have mixed results with this stretch intensity levels. We'll try it in here, and I'll just hit yes, and we'll just take a look at it and see what it looks like. So it looks like it's a little bit cleaner. You really need like hundreds and hundreds of photos, and I should have taken more, but I didn't. So but we're gonna see what we can do with this here. Like I said, it was only 35% of 32 frames, so better than a single image, but you know, not much better. So you could do all this RGB align in another program. I'm going to use Photoshop for the next video, but so you could do all of this. You can do it in here, or you could do it there, but they do have some cool tools over here. I'm not going to go over everything Registax does. I'm just showing my workflow when I use it. So if you want to fix your balance, You can check it here, and I'll hit auto balance and just see if it changes, and it didn't change anything. I think I was pretty neutral. And we can look at the RGB align, and I'll just hit estimate, and it pulls those back a little bit. But I think I'm going to do all this in Photoshop, but you can do lots of editing right here in Registax. But the main thing I'm going to go over are these wavelets right here. So I'm going to make sure I'm not going to use any of this stuff, because I had this pretty neutral when I took it. The white balance was good, I think, and the RGB balance. Let me just hit this align one more time. Now, if I wanted to apply this, which I'll go ahead and apply this RGB alignment tool, I hit estimate and a -1, and then +1 pops up. And if you want to apply that, we'll just come up here and hit do all. And it'll apply it to the whole moon. You can use your mouse to select just an area of the moon if you want this to work faster, because you can see it's kind of creeping right here because it's doing the whole moon. But you can just select a box and then click on this show processing area right here, and then it'll just apply it to that little box. We'll do that on the sharpen. Yeah, I don't see that much of a difference. I think I was pretty close with my color balance and stuff, so I'm going to close that out. So I'm going to click on this show processing area, and let's move it down here. Let's see if I can. Well, I'll just click right there. There, it'll center it right there. Okay, so you just click on the spot you want to put it on. And so the main thing I use Registax for are these wavelets over here. So we've got this little preview box right here, and I like to take this first one and just bump it up a little bit. You see the difference in that right there. That side, you see, that's kind of it's not very sharp at all. I mean, the details, it's okay, but you see how those craters just popped out right there just by sliding that up. Now, it's easy to overdo this, and then if you overdo it, you're not going to be able to fix it in Photoshop or anything. You can always, sharpen a little bit more in Photoshop, but like if you crank this thing up too high, right there, I'm starting to get a lot of green, a lot of is that color fringing or whatever. I'm starting to see some red right there on the edge, and it's turned the craters like a yellowish green color. So you have to be careful with these. So I'm going to take it back down to the default here of 1 or close to 1, and so you can see the difference here. So I'm gonna bump it up a little bit, and you can see like the details in the craters start popping out a lot more than these over here. So bump it up a little bit more, and that's looking pretty good right there. Now you can also adjust with these arrows right here. There's a denoise tab and a sharpen tab. So what I'll do usually is I'll bump this up until, so that looks pretty good, but it's getting, if you keep going too high, like I said, 100, it looks pretty bad. 60%, I'm still seeing that color. 30%, It looks, I'm still seeing some color there, so you know I'm not going to push this that hard. I'm going to do, let's say about 15% here, maybe a little higher, about 17. All right, and that sharpened that up a little bit, and this is only 35% of 32 frames, so we don't have a lot of frames to work with, and I'm still seeing some color there, so I think I will dial it back to 15. So I'm going to dial that back to 15. I'm going to denoise a little bit. I want to bump that up, and I'm going to bump the sharpen up. And I'm still seeing that noise, so I'm not going to be able to really push this like I could if I had, like, you know, 800 frames stacked. So we'll just sharpen it just a touch here. Moved it back to 11.6 right there. And then we'll bump this one up a little bit. And you can play with these sliders, and you can do it as much or as little as you want, but I still like using Registax for these wavelets right here. And I don't go crazy with them. I'll slide it up just a touch. I'll bump the denoise up here. Bump that up. Maybe bump the sharpening up right here. Yeah, it's looking pretty good there. And once you get something right here, and so you can see the difference. Actually looks blurry now. It looked sharp before, but now it looks kind of blurry compared to these graders. So once you get something you're happy with, and you can always just come in here. There's 6 different layer sliders, and I've messed with them before, and you know, like I said, that brings back that yellow color around the craters, and you don't want to go, you know, too far with it. You can bump these up just a little bit and get good results. So I think I'll call that good right there. I'm not gonna slide these too much, but I would have to slide one up and slide one down and see, you know, what each one does. But so I just slid these bottom 3 up just a teeny tiny bit, and I mainly use the top 2 and sometimes the 3rd one. But I'm going to hit do all right here, and that's going to apply all these changes to this moon. And we'll see what it looks like here in just a second.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off.
So yeah, if you've never used this app before, this program before, Registax, you could just come in and mess with these sliders, and you'll be surprised at the detail you can pull out. Now I'm seeing some of this color noise, and once again, that's going to be because I only took 32 frames. I should have taken at least 100, but I didn't. The rest of this I'll try to fix in Photoshop, but that does definitely look a lot sharper than what, you know, before I put it in here, before I stacked it. That looks much sharper. The craters have a lot more detail. Okay. All right, so once you're happy with your wavelet adjustments, and you've got this thing sharpened how you want it, you'll just come over here to save image, and I'm just gonna rename it or add to it. I'll just put Registax edit 1, and then save it. And that saved that as a 16-bit TIFF. And in the next video, I'm going to open this one up and combine it with my Earthshine moonshots and try to process a Earthshine moon. It's been a couple years or so since I did that, so should be fun. Thanks for watching. Clear skies.